So you guys know that my dad has not been in the shop for the last 9 months. And this is day number 2 that he's been back at the shop. So I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is, of course, day number 2. And I wanted to make a video where I asked him a couple of questions and just get his answers. And I just want to hear what he has to say about his life, and it's just some things that I want to ask him and get to share it with you guys. Okay, so Dad, how did you get started in electronics repair?
Well, it's kind of a lengthy story, but my dad was a truck driver for 28 years, and he had had a CB in the car. And I used to tell him to shut that thing off because it annoyed me. It sounded like a police radio, you know,
Right.
because my mom had a scanner, and I couldn't stand it. And one day we had a huge ice storm in Oakland County, Michigan here, and we had lost power for a week.
Yeah.
So we lived in our motorhome because we had no heat in the house.
Right.
And my dad told me to go out to the car and get a weather check on the radio. And I was like, okay, Dad. So I went out there. I had no idea what I was doing. And got a weather check. I asked on Channel 19, about the weather. And somebody came back to me, and they were up in a little trailer park just down the road from us. And anyway, I was like, oh my goodness, this is cool. I can broadcast out there. This is before YouTube and Facebook, and this was in the 70s. And then my dad couldn't get me out of the car, and I was running his battery down all the time. So he bought a base station and set it up in the house, and that had me hooked. Well, I used to do good in high school and or junior high, and then started hanging around with the wrong group of kids and partying and stuff like that, and wasn't applying myself in school. And I took in, my counselor called me into the office there, and I thought, oh boy. And he said, hey, what's going on with your schoolwork and that? And I said, well, I wasn't into school then at the time, just who knows what was going on. But I mean, that was 45 years ago. And he asked me what kind of hobbies I had. And I said, well, I used to teach martial arts, so you can look at me now and think, wow, he did, but he did.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Anyway, that, and I like CB radios. And so he says, well, would you want to learn electronics? And he had me go to a technical school called NEOVEC, Northeast Oakland Vocational Education Center.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and I actually flunked electronics because I'm not real good at math. I know basic math. I can add, subtract, multiply, divide. But when they introduced the alphabet, like algebra, I was like, no, I can't do this stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think, again, I was just young, and, I just didn't get interested in that. But I got basic electronic knowledge. And I started tinkering with some of my own stuff and some friends' things, and eventually I was tinkering with other people's things and just got off into repairing like that. And it just started out as a hobby. And I think I was telling you this the other night.
Yeah.
I had went to a CB shop one time, and to get money back in the 70s, I'll state it like this, like a GoFundMe page now. Our GoFundMe page was shoveling snow, mowing lawns, raking leaves, things like that.
Yeah, ways to make money.
Right.
Right.
So, I was at a CB shop, little hole-in-the-wall shop, and this guy come in, and he had a radio he was picking up, and I was overhearing the conversation, and he mentioned, he asked what was wrong with it, and the guy told him, well, it was hooked up backwards. And, if you have a red wire and a black wire, you got a 50-50 chance. And anyways, so I asked him how much it was. And this is back in the mid-70s. And he told him it was $30. Now, $30 in the 70s was a lot of money,
Yeah.
You could fill up your tank of gas for $10, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, as a 15-year-old kid, I was like, $30? I got to mow 10 lawns to get that kind of money. So I thought, And I had a friend, his name was Tom Orvis, and he was like a little brainiac kid in school. And he'd showed me a couple things with some CBs back then, but I never, thought I would do this for a living. And so I thought, man, I know what's wrong with that radio. I thought $30, that takes 5-10 minutes to fix. Yep. So that had me hooked, and then I bought test equipment here and there, little rinky-dink stuff, and just that was basically, in a nutshell, everything. And I just got more hooked and hooked like that, talking on the radio, became a ham operator, but CB was my first love, that and martial arts. And been doing it professionally for about 41 years.
Wow.
And but I mean, I tinkered with them before then, so, but I didn't know anything. I got my main experience. I went and I begged this guy at a CB shop. I asked him to hire me because I'll be the best technician you ever had. And I was making no money at all. I don't even know. I think I had a $4.10 an hour job. Making $4.10 an hour, and you can't raise kids on that. So he gave me a chance. I worked for him for 13 years, and then I got tired of sharing the money. I worked at 4 CB shops, part-time, but as a full-time job. So then I was teaching 4 nights a week. So I got tired of doing all that, and I opened up my own shop, which was not this room here, it was one down the hall here.
Yep.
And Chase had just been born. He was 2 months old at that.
Yep.
And so I opened up the shop, and it worked out. It's been a long, long journey,
Yep.
And now it's tough to get back in the swing of things because I've been trying to nurse this wound on my foot for 9 months. I'm still not completely healed, but got to pay the bills. So,
Exactly.
But that's kind of it in a nutshell. And I've done work for people all over the world that have sent me their stuff. Hawaii, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, all over the United States, and used to compete in high power CB competitions. That's what those trophies are up here. You can
there's trophies up there.
And and I've been written up in a couple publications called Secret CB, for those of you who know anything about that. And anyway, so I've had a run at it, but I enjoy it. It's like I get to go play with CBs every day, when I'm well enough, And it started out as a hobby, kind of like what Chase did. It started out as a hobby, modding game systems and stuff, and now he does it, and he's a very accomplished technician.
Thank you. You are too, Dad. All right, cool. All right.
Sorry to get long-winded.
No, please. Oh, tell the story. That's how I want to do it. Now I have another question. How did you get the shop that we are in now? Now it doesn't necessarily mean this room, but it could be the room down the hall. How did you get the shop?
When I quit working for everyone else, I was working out of my garage, set up out there, but it wasn't a heated garage. So the problem is that we live in Michigan, so we got 4 seasons, and I had this idea where I was going to make a mobile CB shop, put everything in a van. I didn't have any money at the time, wasn't working, barely making any money, and I had 7 kids at home. So basically, I picked up an old rusty van, put all my equipment in there, went down to a truck stop here in Michigan, kind of in a rough area of town, and I sat there in my van. They charged me $50 for the week to park out there and set up, and I worked all week long. I made $90 from one customer, and I thought, okay, this isn't working. Well, I called this place, the truck stop that we're in now, and I had asked them, could I set up out here? Because this is the biggest truck stop in Michigan. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, we'd rather give you an office. And that's not what my vision was. My vision was to drive up and down the road and fix things right on the spot, because that's one thing I've always done is I do my absolute best to fix the radio within a half hour to an hour. And been pretty successful at that. Anyway, after the 1 week at the other truck stop and not making any money, my wife then told me to call this place. I said, okay. So we drove down here with Chase and his sister Katrina, and we had pulled up, and they sat down in the van because, like I said, Chase was 2 months old. Katrina was about 2. I came in and talked to him, and the owner at the time. They brought me upstairs. He showed me this one office, and it had a counter built into it. But it was like 4 brick walls, no windows, a brick ceiling almost, and cement floor. But I liked the counter in there, and but it's upstairs, kind of out of the way. Not a lot of people know that this truck stop has an upstairs. Yeah. But anyway, he said, "Well, we will give you the shop. I think it was for 2 or 3 months, rent free. If it works, great. Then we'll start charging you. If it doesn't, well then no harm, and see you later." And I went downstairs, and he gave me the key. I went downstairs and I told my wife, I said, "You want to come see our new shop?" And she had kind of chokes me up because she had been praying that that we would get this. And I brought her upstairs and showed her, and I think the first day we opened, which was October 18th, 1996,
that's crazy,
I made $180 that day.
That's crazy.
So, and it's been a blessing to have this, ever since. And I enjoy it. Like I said, when I do get to come to work, I enjoy what I do. So it's like, it's not a job. Some days it feels like that. I imagine anything can. Yeah. But most of the time, it doesn't feel like a job. I just get to come in and play radio. So
that's awesome, man.
And it's been Tuesday when I came in for the first time in 9 months. Boy, I felt like I fought 10 thug life chases that day, man. It was a rough day, and today's been a rough day too. So But anyway, so it's in kind of in a nutshell.
That's awesome. All right, cool. This is another question I thought of, and I had to ask. Do your best with this one because I'm sure there are many. What was the best thing you sold or traded for, and the story of it? The best thing that you can think of, whether it was you bought something, or you sold something for, or you bought something and sold something, or you got something and traded it for another thing. What's the best thing you can think of?
Oh man, many stories.
There's many
stories after 41 years.
If you could pick one of them, maybe.
One I thought was kind of comical is because I see customers from all walks of life in here, and I mean from you'd be surprised. Yeah. And I could tell you some stories, but I don't want to get banned out here. But anyway, this one couple come in, a husband and wife driving team, and they looked like they hadn't showered in a month. Their hair was all scraggly, and I need one right now too. But all scraggly. Their shirts were dirty and torn and stuff. Didn't look like they had 2 pennies to rub together. And the guy come in, and he wanted a radio and an amplifier and an antenna system, a bunch of different things. I quoted him a price, I think it was around $750, $800. And he hemmed and hawed, and he says, "Well, I don't know, maybe next time." And his wife said, "Honey, you deserve it. Go ahead, get it." And that just about floored me because I thought, he didn't look like he had 2 pennies to rub together, yet he just spent $800 with me. So... stuff like that. As far as I bought some really good deals. I've had drivers come in that needed money in a pinch, and I don't try to beat them out of the equipment, but I say, hey, this is what I can offer you for it. I don't twist their arm, and they'll either take it or not. But a lot of times drivers, unfortunately, will come in and sell things for next to nothing because they need money to eat on and stuff like that. So, so I bought a bunch of, that's one of our things here is we buy, sell, and trade. And, a lot of the equipment you've seen here probably on Chase's videos was probably bought or traded in, and then we just refurbish it and then put it back up for sale. So,
we don't refurbish like DK Oldies does.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole scandal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They claim refurbish, they'll clean the outside and then ship it out. They don't actually do anything on the inside.
Well, I like to do my best because that way I can sleep at night. So I'm going to do my best to do the radio like I would do it as it was my own.
Sure.
So
sure. That's cool, man. All right. Last question, because I didn't want to take up too much time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now that you've made it back to the shop after 9 months? Like, what was your first? I know you're probably tired, for sure.
Tired, a little overwhelmed because I told Chase the other night that we went on vacation, let's say for a week, and on the way home or on the way back into the shop, that when I get back, it feels overwhelming. Like, do I even remember how to do this? Because you're a week up north camping or something, nice. And I just felt like, man, am I able to do this again? And then I thought, man, I've been in that nursing home for almost 9 months, and but it's just almost like a duck in water. I got back into it, but it's been tough because it's like I've lost a lot of, it doesn't take a lot of stamina, but to sit in this chair, which is uncomfortable when you're laying in a bed for 9 months, and it makes it kind of tough, but I'll do it. It's going to take me time to really get back in the swing of things, and but little by little, like I said, it's a hobby first, then it's a job second. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys saying prayers for Dad and rooting for him.
I appreciate that.
It's been crazy this last couple. Because you don't expect to have an issue with your foot and then you're out of work for 9 months. And
I want to give kudos to my two sons. And all my kids, because
I don't know where Frankie's at.
He was up.
My brother Frankie was here, but he stepped out.
He stepped up, and Frankie took care of all the bills at home because I had no income coming in, and so he managed to do that. And so I want to say thank you to Frankie, and which. He's been nicknamed Big Boss here, like in Northridge Fixed. So, and then of course Chase, because Chase took over the shop, knew nothing really about CBs other than he probably annoyed him. And we did a lot of video conferencing over Messenger, and he's come a long way, I tell you. He really has, and I'm very proud of Chase. I'm very proud of Frankie. Excuse me, I get a little... because I'd have lost everything if it wasn't for my two sons. So I really appreciate them. My kids for, backing me up and taking care of me. So
awesome, man. Yeah.
But it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I got to slowly ease into it, but, it's good to be back.
No, you're doing great, man. I'm like over ecstatic finally. You're finally back, man. It's like after so long.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. I appreciate you guys. And who knows, we might see some CB content from my dad in the future if I set up the camera and set up the mic, all that good jazz. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. And next time, we'll chase that fix.
That's right.